Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube React channel. If you're new here, or welcome back, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to be reading the highest and the lowest ratings that I have on Goodreads. So books that I have. So I've narrowed it down to just my physical books because, as you guys know, I want to get through my physical TBR this year and I feel like this is going to be a really good way. And so the two books that we've got are two thrillers, which I find is really interesting. One of them's indie published and one of them is traditionally published and quite popular author. So that's probably why. I will put on the screen kind of the actual average rating for you, but the lowest rated we've got is The Fury by Alex Mirkelez. He is the author of The Silent Patient. So The Silent Patient I absolutely loved, and I saw this book and I picked it up. I saw this book in Waterstones and I picked it up on a buy one get one free offer, but then I've not seen great things. So this one is about 7 friends who gather on an idyllic Greek island. Among them a playwright and an actress, her second husband and their wayward son. There's jealousy, betrayal, unrequited love, a handful of secrets and too many lies. 36 hours after they arrive, one of them will be dead. So I'm guessing it's one of them will die and then you've got to try and figure out who done it. So I'm hoping it'll be quite a quick pace read. His books in the past have been, and they're quite twisty and turny. And then we've got a thriller kind of romance. So this one's the indie author one, and I actually got it in my Indecent Book Box subscription for April. I do have a discount code with them if you did want to, if you're based in the UK and you're looking for kind of like a UK based indie subscription box. Morgan is honestly a gem. The boxes she does are incredible. I'm sure you've seen me open up a few of them, but she focuses on indie authors, and the box that I get is the Indecent Book Box, and it's romance based, but this is a thriller romance, so I'm very excited to see that. And this book is Cryptic Pursuit by JT Philpott. And you're following Serena and Matteo. So Serena, it says on the back, Serena, Alex is gone and it's all my fault. Now his killer haunts me and stalks me, pushing me with more victims than I can handle, or punishing me with more victims than I can handle. I should have put an end to his games the moment I first laid eyes on him. Now I've been blessed with a second shot at redemption at the Major Crimes Unit in Greenwich. But nothing could have prepared me to come face to face with someone from my past, and the worst part, he doesn't remember me. And then Matteo, you've got tirelessly busting my ass to get to where I wanted to be as a detective inspector, ended up costing me the woman I thought I wanted. Now no one could fulfill the position until she came. She's the chief's daughter, but something about her seems familiar. She irritates me to my core, but yet I desire her the most. With a serial killer lurking closer, her life becomes in danger. Overstepping boundaries has always been easy for me to do, but to save her, I'd do anything. So you're following two kind of, what I can gather, police officers investigating the serial unaliver. And yeah, it looks really interesting. There's a lot of content warnings, so please check the trigger warnings before you pick this one up. But I'm gonna get into these. In all honesty, I feel like I want to pick up Cryptic Pursuit first because it interests me the most, but so does The Fury. So we will see. My anxiety's taken a bit of a hit recently with being on holiday and coming back, and just I'm feeling highly anxious. So I'm sure two thrillers will not be the best move, but we shall see. But we'll see which book I pick up first, and as always, I will give you check-ins as we go along. Good morning, guys. I swear I come on here every time I do a check-in on some of these videos recently. I just look more and more dishevelled and more tired, but it's like 6:20 in the morning, and last night I finished Act 1 of Fury. So I really wanted to pick up Cryptic Pursuit, but I thought I'm gonna go with the lowest rated first, in the hopes that if it isn't good, then Cryptic Pursuit will kind of make it better. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I finished Act 1 last night, and that's about a third of the way in. So a lot of the time in Alex's books, the first 2 acts are obviously the longest ones, and then the last 3 are where you're trying to find things out. So Act 1 follows all the characters in the book, so you get to know who they are. You get to know a bit about their backstory. You find out kind of a few of their secrets and a few things that's going on that shouldn't be going on. And then obviously at the end of Act 1, you find out who gets murdered, and you see kind of the murder happen, but obviously not who did it. So you see who responds to it and stuff like that. Now, as always, you feel like you know the plot lines. So nearly everyone responds to it except from one person. And so naturally, you feel like that's going to be the person that did it.
or except from 2 people. So you feel like it's between those 2, but I have a feeling it's not gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be potentially one of the others. But I'm not 100% sure. But yes, so let me give you the backstory of this. In this book, you are following Lana, Kate. Is it Kate or Katie? Kate. So you're following Lana, who's a famous actress. Kate, who's a actress that is good at her job, but she's struggling with the play that she's doing now. Jason, who is Lana's husband. Leo, who is Lana's son. Elliot, who is Lana's friend, and the narrator of the story. You're then following, and then they're kind of that's the main friendship group. So Lana owns a private island because her ex-husband Otto, who's passed away, bought it, and she gets fed up of the London weather and so decides to go to the Greek island with her friends and family, and so that's why they're all there. Then on the Greek island, you've got Nikos, who is kind of their housekeeper on the island, who runs the house for them and lives on the island on his own because he likes solitude. And then you've got Agathe. I never know how to say it, but I always pronounce it Agathe in my head. And she's Lana's PA. She's her personal assistant, and is with them and cooks for them and cleans them. She kind of got hired to be Leo's nanny, and then as Leo's grown up, she's developed into being a cook slash housekeeper slash personal assistant. So you're following all these people on the Greek island, and there's secrets, there's people that don't like each other, there's different scenarios that means that aggravates other people. So there's but Lana is the common ground and everyone likes Lana as such. A few of them have got a bit of an issue with her, but she seems to be the one that's the most. So that's why they're all kind of together. But yeah, in Act 1, you're following learning the background of them, learning a few of the secrets and a few of the things that is going on behind the scenes. And then obviously at the end of Act 1, you find out who's murdered, and you see you're following it from Agathe's point of view, and she gets woken up in the night and she hears it. So you're kind of finishing Act 1 on you know who's murdered, so now you've got to figure out who's done it. So I'm really excited to get into Act 2. I will say, I kind of went into this apprehensive, obviously with it being the lowest rated. Now, so far, I have really enjoyed the writing style. So I guess it will just be if the twists or anything are predictable. So I will continue to go through this. And what I will do is once I finish it, I will look on Goodreads to see why, to see some of the reviews and see why maybe it's been low rated and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to get into Act 2 and see what happens. Good morning, guys. I'd be lying if I said it's the next day or even the day after when I last spoke to you. It's not. It's a few days later. I have finally got to the end of part 2 of The Fury. I say finally, I'm actually really enjoying the book. I sat there last night and got to part 2 and was very much there thinking I actually really enjoy this book and I want to know what happens, but I just have... I've had a really, really, really busy weekend. I've had my friend up for the weekend, and then I went to big weekend with my other friend, with my uni friend from up here, and then we went to the Liverpool celebration parade as well. So it's been a really busy weekend, and there's just been a lot going on with it being a bank holiday weekend, and then it's now Wednesday. Yesterday I just kind of decompressed from the full weekend and from work and stuff. So we're back to it today. I've been struggling a little bit recently with my mental health and stuff. So I'm trying to use today as a bit of a reset day. I've got an assignment due soon, so I need to get some of that done. Those types of things, But that's besides the point. I am now at the end of part 2 of The Fury. So, like I say, I'm enjoying it so far. Part 1 very much got you up to the murder, then part 2, but it got you up to the murder in a very this is what happened way, I guess. And then part 2, you're going through the person who owns the islands, thought process of inviting everyone out, and you're seeing her motivations as to why everyone that was there because in the first go round you think
she has a problem with one of the other characters when in actual fact she doesn't, and it's the one that you thought she was fine with, basically. So that was really interesting, and I did guess a relationship between two characters, but I also got like the nature of the relationship wrong between another two of the characters. However, something's just come out about one of them that makes it sense as to why as a reader you would feel that way, and why like you might think that they've got this certain kind of dynamic. So that's really interesting. So basically part 1 you read up to the murder, and part 2 you also read up to the murder. And at the end of part 2 they kind of say like this isn't going to be like a normal thriller novel because it's written with a narrator, but the narrator was one of the people on the island. So I really like the writing style. I really like the way that it's written. I like that it's quite different to read. It's like you're listening to someone tell the story. It reminds me quite a lot of like a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising-esque writing style, where it's like narrated to you. However, it's kind of got bias because the narrator is actually the person that was on the island. So it's really interesting to see that kind of dynamic. So yeah, we're at the end of part 2. That's also back up to the murder, but you see kind of where you were right, where you were wrong, what the actual character dynamics are, and not kind of the outsider perspective of the character dynamics. So like part 1's very much the fluffy character dynamics. You've got a few like evil characters, and you've got a few characters which are like, oh, they're just fine. And then the next go through, you kind of are seeing the true dynamics, the true things, the secrets that they've all got. And then I don't know whether in part 3 we're going to find out the murderer, because they were, at the end of part 2, they're kind of saying like how if it was a normal novel, you'd get the police there, you'd do an investigation, you'd go through that because it could only be one of the 6 on the island. However, at the end of that, they said it's not written like a normal novel. So, and like before the police have arrived, their lights went on and they knew who did it. So I don't know whether in part 3, and then like chaos hit. So I don't know whether by the end of part 3 we might know who the murderer was, and then part 4 might be the chaos aftermath. I'm not sure, but I'm really intrigued to see it. My aim for today is to focus a lot on uni work after I get my workout and stuff done. So I just want to get to the end of part 3 today. That's kind of the plan, and then tomorrow finish it. Obviously, if I'm sat down reading it and I get hooked, then amazing, because I feel slightly slumpy with my reading. I mean, the weekend's been really busy and I've had like friends around and stuff, so I've not been able to read at all. I literally didn't pick up a book. I read on Friday, and then I didn't pick up a book until like Monday night. So I haven't been reading, but I also feel like the monthly TBRs are great. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love a monthly TBR, and I love like the sense of satisfaction when I complete them. However, what I don't enjoy is this bit after. So I've completed my monthly TBR, and you would think, oh, that's amazing, I can read whatever I want. Like now, obviously I'm reading to get ahead in videos and stuff, which has left my June TBR to be a lot more open, and it's meant that I can get like further ahead in terms of videos and stuff. However, I'm not as far ahead as I wanted to be because I've not been reading. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, and I've got no motivation to read. So the reason I read the other books is because they're on my monthly TBR. I need to get them done by the end of the month. However, now I've got no motivation to read because I know I need to get them done, but I'm like, realistically, I've still got a few weeks until this video's out, so I can take my time. So it's kind of like I've lost motivation, but actually I'm just going to enjoy it and not put pressure on myself. And yeah, my hope is to finish that book in the next couple of days, and then before I jump into book 2 of this video, into Cryptic Pursuit, I'm going to try and finish. So I'm in the middle of like 3 books at the moment, so I'm going to try and finish all those books, round out May with all those finished, and then I can start June reading Cryptic Pursuit, and then actually look at the ones on my TBR for the month. But yeah, I'm going to sign off now and get out on my run because I'm procrastinating. Shock. It's 11:20, so I'm sorry the lighting's a bit off and my voice is a little croaky, but basically I finished part 3 of The Fury, and I wanted to give you my part 3 update before I carry on. I think I'm going to read another couple of chapters for part 4 before going to sleep, and I didn't want to read them and then have to catch you up tomorrow because I've been enjoying doing the check-ins at each part. It's been really nice rather than just doing one midway. So we've got a part 4 check-in and a part 5 check-in, and then obviously the ending, so we shall see. But part 3, so this story so far, part 1's been the narrative as an outsider would see. Part 2 has been the background as to characters' relationships and the female main character finding out the secret. Part 3 has been the narrator's relationship with the female main character and a lot more about his childhood and his actions and how he feels like a puppet master. He feels like the person that is pulling all the strings and kind of the catalyst to a lot of events. This book, part 3, was giving very much Joe Goldberg from You vibes. And yeah, he's taken a slight turn. I did guess at the start that maybe it wasn't all to him that I would think, and I'm right about that, but I'm unsure where the story's going to go now because a twist, which I'd already guessed, was true. Now, I don't know whether it was meant to be a shocking twist, as in, you weren't meant to guess it, or whether it was kind of a guessable twist. I don't know. But I guessed it. I knew it was coming. And so I'm really intrigued to see where the plot goes now, because we're getting into Act 4, and this is where, in terms of the story, things start going wrong. So we still don't have any answers. We've just got more questions. I know I'm talking about this really vaguely. Obviously, with it being a thriller, I don't want to give too much away, and to be honest, I don't think I have, because I've not given away any plot points, but I do feel like sometimes even knowing the bits that I've said about a thriller is a bit too much. But then if I didn't tell you this, then this video would be about 3 seconds long, because both books are thrillers and I wouldn't be able to tell you anything. So it's an interesting storyline at the moment. Things are definitely ramping up. Things are definitely getting a lot more interesting. What I am enjoying / finding weird is the narrator is obviously one of the characters, and he's one of the characters that's involved in the scene on the island, and he's also narrating the story, so telling you the story and saying it from first person and also talking about the other characters. But then at times he'll break the fourth wall. So let me find an example. So things like, perhaps this is a good place to pause and take stock before we proceed. I'm aware of the conventions of this genre. I know what's meant to happen next. I know what you're expecting. A murder investigation, a denouncement, a twist. That's how it's supposed to play out. But I warned you at the start, this was not the way this was going to go. So he kind of breaks that fourth wall. So you're in the story and he's taking you through the plot points, and then just every so often he'll break the fourth wall and he'll talk to you directly as a reader, as if he's it's kind of as if he's the real writer. So obviously I know that the narrator narrating this is fictional, and so when he's talking to you as a reader, it's fictional character talking to a fictional reader as such, but it hits you as the reader. And I like the way it's been done. It's just kind of it baffles me, and it really hits me sometimes. I guess it's in movies when they look directly at the screen or they break that fourth wall. It's exactly like that. So I am really enjoying it. I love Alex's writing style. I do really enjoy it. I do think it's relatively fast paced. I'm really enjoying this one. I think it is really interesting. I don't think it's a 5 stars. I think at the moment we're sitting on a 4 stars. I'm well over halfway now. I've got less than 100 pages to go. So now's the time that in any thriller it starts ramping up. I think part 4 has got about 50 pages in it. So it's about halfway, maybe slightly more, maybe 55. And I think the last part's got 40 pages. So I'm really excited to kind of see how this ends now and what the next part of the story is going to hold. I don't think I'm going to read the whole of part 4 tonight, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to do this check-in so then I could read a couple of chapters, fall asleep, and then finish part 4 off tomorrow. And my plan is to finish the book tomorrow as well. I think that's very, very, very doable. I've not got much left, and I want to get this done by the end of the month. And then I also need to listen to Taken From My Home, because if you've watched any of my videos last month, you'll know that I started that one in a video way back, and I've still not finished it. And so I want to get that one finished by the end of the month. So I'm gonna finish this one tomorrow, aim to finish Taken From My Home audio, try it through audiobook, and then we'll look at picking up Cryptic Pursuit. But I need to get those 2 books finished first. So I'm gonna finish this one, take a pause on this video, read other books, and then come back to Cryptic Pursuit. But yeah, enjoying it so far. Excited to get into the next chapter, and I will keep you updated. Good morning, guys. I sat last night and read quite a lot more of The Fury and got most of the way through part 4. I would have finished part 4,
but it literally was like, I'm so tired and I don't want to do that thing where you start falling asleep during the mid chapter and you're like, I need to stay awake just to get to the end of the chapter, because then you forget things. And it's getting to like the juicy parts. So in part 4, you're finally seeing the aftermath of the murder, which obviously isn't a spoiler because it does say on the back. It begins with a phone call and it ends with a murder. So you're seeing the aftermath of the murder, and kind of, because obviously there's only so many people on the island, kind of them figuring out who did it. So obviously for the first 3 parts, you're seeing the leader and the background stories of everyone. Part 4's just ended on a massive cliffhanger. So I woke up this morning, was like, I'll read part 4 and then I'll go for my run, work out, do my uni work and stuff like that, and then I can finish part 5 later this evening. It'll give me something to like look forward to. There's no way that's happening. I'm going to keep this check-in short and sweet because I need to read part 5. It's only about 30 odd pages, so it won't take me that long. I'll read that, and then I'm hoping by that time the rain stopped, and then when I go out for a run I won't get soaked, because I don't mind running in the rain, but I just don't want to today, basically. So I'm going to read part 5 now. This part, kind of how they play this off, like, lends to how like kind of good it is. At the moment it is 4 stars, but it could very easily drop down to 3 if this ending isn't very good. Now what's just happened at the end of part 4 either needs to be false or there's a twist coming, and I have some thoughts, so I'll let you know if I'm right about the twist. But yeah, we shall see. I'm going to go read part 5 and then I'll give you my final thoughts in a bit. Hi guys, I'm in the same spot, but I finished The Fury. I don't really have a rating for you because I'm not sure. I wasn't a massive fan of the ending. I didn't guess it, but I wasn't a massive fan. I'm going to look on Goodreads actually and see kind of what other reviews are saying, because I'd imagine a lot of reviews are saying the same thing, like the book was so good and then the ending kind of just let it down. So I'm not sure, but I will, when I do like the wrap up of the video, I'll confirm my rating. At the moment it's more a 3 stars, so it's leaning between a 3 and a 4 star, but we will see. So I will come back to you when I've got updates on Cryptic Pursuit, which I think I'm actually going to start tonight. But yeah, and then when we do like the final wrap up at the end, I'll tell you my rating and everything. But yeah, I'm going to go and actually get ready for my day now. I don't think there's a single check-in in this video so far where I've not looked dishevelled with awful lighting and in bed. And it's late, it's 11:05, so we're doing well. However, I have started Cryptic Pursuit. I have decided that because I really enjoyed giving more check-ins for The Fury, and obviously I did that as each of the book was broken down into acts or parts, so I gave it after each part. However, Cryptic Pursuit isn't, so I've kind of decided I'm going to do every 10 chapters. So I've read the first 10 chapters. I'm on page 89, and to be fair, it's literally just started to take shape. I feel like the first 10 chapters were very much setting the scene. So you are following Serena and Matteo, who are both detectives. Serena previously, about 12 weeks ago, saw her ex-boyfriend get unalived by a serial killer who, when they were meeting, knew her name and has now proceeded to stalk her and send some really not very nice notes, messages, and yeah, basically follow her around. So she's now gone and joined this new task force who are investigating the murder of her ex-partner and the other police people that this serial killer has unalived. So it's an interesting premise, and then you've got the male main character is also on this task force searching for the serial unaliver, and they have some sort of childhood connection. However, he doesn't remember her, but she remembers him. So they kind of got off on a, not necessarily a bad foot. They met for the first time in the lift, and there was some obvious tension. However, he very much came across like grumpy, and it's not really enemies to lovers because she doesn't hate him, and that's also kind of started to be put aside, but it's very much like I'm gonna treat you like rubbish because I'm gonna put this front up and I don't want you coming too close to me kind of vibe from him. So yeah, and the serial unaliver has been sending the female main character certain messages, and the male main character has obviously now just found out about them, and so we are on chapter 11, and so it's now kind of like picking up pace as to I'm guessing like the romance is going to pick up pace now as well, because this is a thriller romance. I have to say, this book is gorgeous. Sorry, why is it that indie published books are so stunning, and also each chapter as well has like pictures, not pictures, but each chapter starts like with a black page and has some sort of like design in that, and I find that that's a really nice way, like it just feels so lovely to read. But why is it indie published books are delicious and then traditionally published books are so stiff? You've got to kind of like, you have to break the spine to read it. But I am enjoying it so far. I fear it's probably not the best book to have started when I'm obviously living alone at night in the dark. But you know, I am enjoying it. I am excited to see where this goes. This is book one of a trilogy, and I haven't added it onto my series tracker because I wanted to see that I actually liked it first. But if this carries on in the same trajectory that we're going in now, it will be added on because I am enjoying it, and I do like the two characters. So yeah, this one I got in April's book box. So again, the Indecent Book Club book box I'm subscribed of. I have a discount code which is linked down below, obviously, always, so go check them out because you get some incredible books and they're all indie published, so they are all gorgeous to read. But yeah, I will get back into this. I'm going to read a little bit more tonight and then continue on in the morning. My aim is, I'm filming my wrap up tomorrow, which you guys will have already seen, but my aim is to try and get as far through this before then. I ideally want to finish it before the end of May. However, we will see. But I am really enjoying it. So I'm going to get back to it and I'll check in with you guys again soon. I mean, can we just get a round of applause for the fact that I'm not in bed and I've got like proper clothes on and not pyjamas? I know. I read last night until chapter 20, so I obviously checked in at 11:05 or 11 o'clock-ish, and I then kept reading until gone 1. So I got up this morning and read chapter 20 because I was just so tired last night. I was genuinely falling asleep and I was like, there's no point me carrying on. So I read that chapter 20 this morning and then paused to check in with you guys, but also to get quite a few bits done today. So I am now 50% of the way through and I'm on chapter 21. I have been fuming all day. I've been messaging the author JT on Instagram as well, absolutely fuming and raging to her, and also to Morgan from the Indecent Book Club website, about the fact that I've had to do other things today. So I've had like a meeting with my mentor from uni and I've had assignments and bits and pieces to do. So I've been fuming because all I've wanted to do is sit down and carry on reading this. Now I will finish it today. I'm just really enjoying it. So obviously I checked in at chapter 10. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, I remember what happened at chapter 10. The male main character had just found out about the communications. So within that time, obviously they've done more to try and apprehend the said serial unaliver. And there has been a few altercations and like problems that they've arisen. The female main character and the male main character are still going through like some issues. We finally had our first spicy scene, and I will tell you what, it was a good spicy scene. Like, it was well written, but also it felt poignant at the time, and I hope it just doesn't like accelerate the dynamic between the pair, because I feel like at the moment we're getting a good like nice long, not slow burn as such, because we are 50% of the way through the first book, and it's very much they've both got feelings for each other kind of vibe. It's not like, oh, there's nothing there between them, but it's very much a kind of a will they, won't they. So I'm really, 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 really enjoying it. I will say, if you're not a fan of thriller, don't pick it up, because I have got the book box because it's a romance book box, but I feel like this is very much more of thriller with a side plot of romance, and it focuses on the main characters who the romance is centered around. However, the hook and like the premise and everything like that comes from the thriller. So I've categorized it more as thriller than I have romance. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I cannot wait to pick it back up today and read the next 10 chapters and come and check in with you again, probably in bed in my pajamas, and then finish it. I'm going to finish it today because I just need to know what happens. So I need to stop rambling on so I can film a few other videos and then pick this back up. But yeah, that's our check-in. I just wanted to quickly check in because I'm now like over the 30 chapters. I was meant to check in before I came back and read the next chapter and I forgot. But the big events of the book happened in between chapters 20 and 30, and you got to see the outcome of obviously the silent hunter and who that really is, as well as if there's people like in the police that are involved or how they've got away with things. And so now you're seeing kind of the aftermath of that, which I think is really nice, because a lot of the time in in thriller books you see what happens with the serial unaliver or whatever, you don't ever really see the aftermath. And I feel like this is what sets it apart from being just a thriller to like a thriller romance, because you're seeing the main characters afterwards as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go because I just want to finish the book and I need to find out what happens at the end, and then I will come back to you obviously with my final thoughts of Cryptic Pursuit, as well as my final thoughts on The Fury, or my final rating on The Fury.
Okay guys, it's time to wrap up the video. So I hope you've enjoyed a few more of the check-ins rather than just like a halfway and end check-in of both The Fury and Cryptic Pursuit. Obviously the one book went really well and one book not so great. So I ended up giving The Fury 3 stars. I thought it was a really good plot point and premise. I liked how it was written. I just feel like it dragged a little bit, and I feel like the ending wasn't the best. And yeah, it just wasn't, I wasn't gripped. Like, I enjoyed how it was written, but I wasn't gripped, and you can clearly see it in my video, in my like check-ins, that it's not the best. I didn't really enjoy it, and I don't remember a lot about it. I've not thought about it much since. The only reason I've thought about it since is because of going to Greece for a holiday at the end of this month, so obviously that's made me think about it a little bit, but just nothing really there. Cryptic Pursuit, on the other hand, we have another fact of it book. I loved that book with like my whole heart. I have, because I got it in a indecent book box for March, I believe, March or April. I just like, I loved it. And because I got it in that, I knew it was an indie published, which means I've spoken to the author because of like the unboxing and stuff like that. She commented on my reel and stuff, and she's so sweet. And I literally messaged her saying, what is going on? I need that book. I need that book too right now. What do you mean I've got to wait till November to get book 2? No. So that book's been added onto our series tracker, and it's officially one that we're going to finish. It's a trilogy, so there's only a couple of other books coming, which means it's not that long of a series to add on, and also it is complete until November, and then you best believe in November I'm picking that book up straight away, so it's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not adding on like an 8-book series. I'm adding on the book 1 of a trilogy, which is not complete, but for me right now it will be complete, and then it's only an extra book that I need to read. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed a few more check-ins and just getting a little bit more in-depth thoughts throughout the book. But just in general, Cryptic Pursuit, I feel like if you're a thriller person, go and pick it up. It was just amazing. I loved how it was written. I loved the physical book as well. I did really enjoy reading it physically. I didn't really enjoy reading it on my Kindle, so I love an indie published book. I don't know what it is, they are so floppy. So, and JT put so much thought into the text and the spacing and everything. It's just beautiful. I am sorry that when I did this wrap up, I don't have the physical books with me. I put all of my books in a book stack when I finished with them, and obviously I read them in May, so I do my May wrap up and then I'm finished with them, so I put them away, and then I moved the stack and they're now in all different places. So I'm really sorry I didn't have them with me, but just know The Fury was okay. I feel like if you're going to Greece, maybe read it because it might be more atmospheric, which will make it a little bit more enjoyable. But Cryptic Pursuit, if you are into thriller, 100% get it. It did have my heart racing at points, but 100% get it. It was incredible. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.